Hello and welcome to episode 32 of What If Civilization Started Over. No, sorry, 33. Episode 33. Let's get into it. So, today we are going to be starting with the Daily Japan update, as it's going to start by this island here being sold to the Yellow Country by the South Koreans to help in their war. Nope, not that. But then, after we put capitals on, a coalition is going to be formed against the Orange Country. The Yellow Country is going to declare war on the Orange Country, and then the Green one will. So the Orange Japan Country will fall pretty quickly too. Yeah, and that's our Daily Japan update for today. Let's see what it looks like. So this is what that looks like. Now we're gonna go back to Korea, as the war is gonna continue. Now there's an encirclement from the Korean country, the North Korean country. It's been encircled by the South Korean country. And this encirclement is nowhere near as deep in as the other one. So it's going to be broken. This, it's kind of, yeah, it's cut off. And now it's encircled again. But this time, these guys are actually going to hit the coastline. And also, and then they encircle the capital, which is not good. But also these guys will be encircled. But this is also around the time that the South Koreans sold their island, which is going to cause a massive pushback from the South Koreans from the South Koreans, and they make a giant encirclement here, and they almost take it. There's just a tiny little bit. And then some other troops will be going up and cutting this part in half. So that's what this will look like. So, yeah, this is what it looks like. So, that money really did help the South Koreans with this. Yeah. They wish they could have sold this. The North Koreans wish they could have sold that land. But that is now fully caught up to, well, now. Now we're going to look in the Americas, as the French country is going to continue exploring throughout coastlines of America, and then eventually meeting heat. Nope, not there. They will make the coastal border look something like this. And that's up north. Down south, at least for them, they make a connection to this lake here, like the Great Lakes, and they will take a majority of this area. They would take all of this territory, and they would continue to explore throughout the lake, and also seeing nobody here. They will want to also explore around this side of the lake and continue colonizing a lot more. And this is about what the colony looks like up north. But then we're going to expand a little bit down south, around this kind of area or something. Yeah, about that. And their full territory combined will look something like this. But then the Iberians are going to continue to go upwards, maybe potentially trying to meet up with the French. And they do eventually meet up with the French. And the French will just continue exploring until they eventually find the Iberians, which Now fishery makes the entire east coast of America, well, now colonized, and the Iberians will continue to explore and expand throughout their colony. A lot of resources here are starting to be extracted from these colonies, at least the easy ones to get. So that's how these expeditions are becoming very successful. Also, just a tiny bit from out here. And the Iberians will continue to expand, and they will expand to Louisiana, about there. But then the purple team is going to make a landing right down here in South America, in Venezuela. And they're looking to maybe go out and explore, and possibly the whole Caribbean. They also discover Trinidad and Tobago, if I can call it that. And they will figure out a way to get territories on both of those areas. The purple team thinks both of these are separate. These are separate land masses, even though they're technically connected. They'll realize that somehow. But also the Iberians are going to land over here in the Aztec, the Yucatan Peninsula, and they will make the territory there look something like that. And also the British are going to expand a tiny bit. They specifically are going to expand up north to about here. And also we can smooth out this border a tiny bit. About there. And smooth it up. And yep, that's about what it looks like. But I did say something about, if I didn't, which I may have, the French and British are having a disagreement right here. And this is a bit of an issue because the French were a territory of the British, like right before the French discovered America. So the British believe that their colony should look something like this. They think they should own all of that. But the French, they just want this territory. That's what they want. They don't want anything else. They just want that. But the British are not going to budge, and this is going to cause a war, the first war in the Americas. Immediately, I'm pretty sure there's more resources here, but the French are putting more of their money into their colonies than the British, because the British have rebellions, and figuring out how to support the British Isles and not risk invasion from all sides. Technically, these guys could be from all sides, be invaded from all sides, but they're like the most neutral. Oh yeah, that. They made that. Forgot about that. Yeah, other than that, they're pretty neutral. So, the French are going to start by using travelers that went to the Americas to invade. A lot of them are volunteered troops to help in this war because the French are basically the Switzerland of this war. And there are small colonies here, but a lot of these areas are just claims. But they immediately start by, pushing in. This tiny thing here, which I'm pretty sure is a river based on how it looks, this is basically a barrier that if the British have a major port here, and if that is captured, the British are losing this war. And another naval landing is in this I think this is Nova Scotia? No. No, that's Nova Scotia. I don't know what that is. Let me look it up. Yeah, that is Nova Scotia. I was thinking of Newfoundland. But the Battle of Nova Scotia, I don't really know what it is, but it's a pretty major colony. A lot of stuff is here. So, the French making a landing here is crucial here. And this is going to be known as the Battles of Nova Scotia. The French will be the first ones to invade, cutting this tiny area off and taking the southern parts of Nova Scotia. These parts will be invaded into, and there's a big major port right here, so the British will defend against that. Up here, though, the British are pushing back a tiny bit because they have organized more back in the normal lands. They have organized, well, like fundraisers sort of thing to figure out propagandists to tell these that this is good. We can be our enemy, the French. The country, if you help us, yeah. So the people are actively supporting this to help stop these guys. Yeah. So they're pushing back there with volunteered people from all the way back in Britain going over to here to fight here. And the British will make a pretty major encirclement of a very major port. A major port right here. There's a couple major ports. Here, yeah. That's the major one. One of the major ones. And that is encircled. They were going to worry about that as the French are getting really close to this city. This is going to be this is the most bloody war, the worst war in this world. And this city, after a month of fighting, is taken. And then a spearhead is moved up here, and the front lines look something like that. That was a major loss for the British. A major loss. And up here, the British have used guerrilla warfare tactics to land here and take this. And same thing, they land across the river and start pushing the French back up here. But then, if we go back home, all the fighting has been in the Americas. But then, something major happens. The British make a landing right here in France. This is a major turning point of the war. Telling the French that they can't just send all of their armies over to the Americas. Like 90% of their armies are in the Americas currently fighting this war. And their volunteer troops. There's barely anything over here. So, yeah. The British are going to spend a bunch of stuff here, and the people are supporting this part. Not the Americas as much, but they do support this part. And they're going to make 2 major landings and attempt to capture this major area. They will capture this. Let me just make that how it looked. They take this area pretty quickly, and then they encircle a major port. A very major port. This port is where 90% of all of the supplies going to the Americas is coming out of that exact port. So without that port, all of these supplies in the Americas are either not connected to France, not getting orders and having to fight with their own resources, or having supplies sent through here into Iberia, through Iberia, and all the way through Iberia, going to another port that isn't as major, or maybe even going through Iberia, which is not good. So the French are going to take a lot of armies out of the Americas to focus on this, which will cause this port here, to be pushed back, and this. But then, let's look at something. the Iberians. Look. Oh, they've just declared war on Britain. And they're invading greatly. Very, very greatly. And this is going to cause the people to go mad at the British. But they won't do much. The British are going to try to fight this, which is going to cause the French to gain their territory back. And the Americas, these guys push back, these guys push back. And the French land here, take this port, and start destroying the British. Oh, wrong area. Let's go up here. They take back this area and back this area. They invade a lot into Nova Scotia and make their territories look like this. They take all of Nova Scotia, including these territories, and they surround this entire. They take all of this back and take all this. And the French will invade this area. And that is the updates over there, because a lot of the armies are back. And the Iberians would take the capital of the British, but they won't surrender. And then, after that, they get pushed all the way back to here, and the final battle of this war takes place in this port, and this port is taken by the French, causing the British to surrender over to the Iberians and the French. Let's look at a peace treaty of this war. So, this is the peace treaty. Let's look at the Americas. First, as the French will get this territory here, and this territory, this tiny thing, this thing, and that. They will not be taking that tiny port. And over here, the Iberians will get this tiny territory. Oh, and one tiny thing, the French will also get this tiny territory here. Other than that, and bunch of reparations, the British are fine to keep this colony. And that is actually going to do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. See you in the next episode, and bye.